Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Good morning everyone. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 22nd as well as 23rd August 2021. Some important developments from both dates we will cover here. So these are the important articles. We have segregated them for mains purpose. In prelims part, some of the prelims pointers are added because not whole article but some of the information from these different articles is important here. Okay, so accordingly we will take input. First of all, what we will do is take overview of all these articles. First, the Collegium recommendations. Recently, the Collegium had recommended 9 such names for the Supreme Court in near future. So this is the context of the article. Now, in first part, it is talking about how expeditiously the Supreme Court led, or we can say this Collegium led by CJI has recommended the names. So there is some kind of efficient process going on. Second aspect, the kind of recommendations that are done, so they reflect diversity and appropriate criterion. And lastly, it is talking about now the ball is in the court of executive to appoint these members. Okay, so from GS2 paper, polity part, Collegium and we can say judicial appointments, this has been in news for long time, the conflict, the tussle between executive and judiciary. Okay, so this is in today's newspaper editorial page. Now on page number 7 in 23rd August, that is today's newspaper, tackling the burden of non-communicable diseases. Earlier also one article we discussed about the non-communicable diseases when there was the context of Tamil Nadu state government scheme that was launched for this purpose, non-communicable diseases purpose. So again the article by the experts regarding dealing with the burden of increasing non-communicable diseases and how pandemic has impacted the healthcare delivery, healthcare services to non-communicable diseases. All these aspects are discussed and way forward is also mentioned. From GS2 paper, HRD, human resource development or health sector and governance aspect is discussed here. Then this particular article on yesterday's newspaper FAQ page, are oil bonds to blame for high fuel prices? So the context here is of a finance minister recently had said that the central government has to service these oil bonds from time to time, which is affecting its fiscal space, and that's why it is not able to reduce the taxes on the petroleum products. So the context is this one. The article is explaining in the first part what are these oil bonds, why they were issued by the UPA government, why they were stopped, all these aspects, and whatever the comments that are done by the finance minister, are they justified? So all these arguments are discussed in this FAQ page article. Specifically for prelims related developments, Barasingha or swamp deer, on Sunday's newspaper magazine supplement is there, and on page number 7 of that magazine supplement it is talking about the swamp deer. Now there was question this year prelims examination by UPSC, the natural habitat of swamp deers, which of the following protected areas? So we will discuss that particular question, but such kind of questions are asked, you need to take context from the Hindu newspaper. Okay, so we will talk basic about the Barasingha, its habitat in India, what are the threats, what are the conservation status of this Barasingha. And finally, some prelims pointers, especially from science and technology page of yesterday's newspaper. We will take some input from the basic science also. Okay, finally, the UPSC previous year questions MCQ on this Barasingha, we will talk about that also. Yes, so first article, breaking the logjam, handing over the baton. So in today's the Hindu newspaper editorial page, this particular article is talking about the context that new recommendations made by Collegium, 9 judges have been recommended by the Collegium to Supreme Court. Okay, so this is the context of this article, and yes, the significance is that the newly appointed Chief Justice of India has to some extent expedited the process of giving the recommendations for the appointments in the higher judiciary, both high courts as well as Supreme Court. So to some extent it has increased the efficiency in recommending such names through the collegium. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll understand the basic evolution of collegium. So yes, let me give you idea about the origin of collegium system here. What is the collegium? Collegium is made up of 4 senior most judges of Supreme Court. Okay, Chief Justice of India and forum of 4 senior most judges of Supreme Court, which recommend appointments and transfers of the judges in the higher judiciary, Supreme Court and High Courts. So this collegium system is not mentioned in the Constitution. Try to understand this. India is one such country where the appointments to the judiciary are recommended by the judiciary itself. Okay, so to some extent there is some kind of compulsion on the appointments or the members recommended by the judiciary here, and executive is not having that much, we can say, flexibility in those appointments. Okay, now how this particular system is evolved? Constitution only talks about this particular article. Article 124 of the Indian Constitution states that every judge of Supreme Court shall be appointed by the President by the warrant under his hand and seal, after consultation with such other judges of Supreme Court and High Courts in the state and as the President may deem necessary for the purpose. So it is not talking about the collegium system. It is not talking about any committee to be formed by the government. So this only provision talks that President is supposed to appoint the Supreme Court judges. Now, how did this particular collegium system evolve? There are different judges cases, and through these judges cases, the present day collegium system has evolved. First of all, the first judges case, 1981, it is also called as S.P. Gupta case. Now, in this particular case, there was primacy given to the executive over judicial appointment, in the judicial appointments. The ruling gave executive primacy over the judiciary in judicial appointments. Okay, that means it talks that it declared the primacy of the CJI's recommendation on judicial appointments and transfer can be refused for the cogent reasons. So that means executive had some kind of powers here to refuse to appoint those candidates recommended by the judiciary here. Okay, so it gave primacy to executive. Second judge's case, however, overturned this. In 1993, Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association versus Union of India, in this case, the majority of the verdict gave back CJI's power over judicial appointments and transfers. It said that the CJI only, Chief Justice of India, only need to consult 2 senior most judges, only 2 senior most judges, and the role of CJI is primal in nature because this being the topic within the judicial family, the executive cannot have equal say in the matter. Okay, so that means the President is reduced to only approver. Executive is now only approver. It is not having the flexibility or the primacy now. Judiciary has retained the primacy in the judicial appointments. Now, what happened in the third judge's case, further improvement in the collegium system in 1998, this third judge's case had said that instead of 2 senior most judges, such kind of, let's say, consultation to the plurality of 4 senior most judges is to be given, and let's say any candidate has to be supported by the majority of the candidate. That means out of 4, if 2 judges give adverse opinion about the candidate, then Chief Justice of India is not supposed to recommend that name. Okay, so it works on the majority basis. Fine. So in this manner you should be aware about this. Now this 99th Constitutional Amendment Act, it talked about National Judicial Appointment Commission Act. Now this was struck down later on, which is also called as fourth judges case in 2016. This was struck down with 4-1 majority by the Supreme Court, and now at present again the collegium system is retained here. Through this National Judicial Appointment Commission, to some extent executive had role in the appointment process of this higher judiciary. But this was struck down on the basis that independence of judiciary is at stake. Now, independence of judiciary is the basic structure of Indian Constitution. This is how the Supreme Court had said in this. Now, after understanding the evolution of this collegium system, further coming back to this article, the role of CJI in collegium is, we can say that, to bring the balance and consensus among the four senior most members in the collegium. This is the major role of CJI in the collegium, and we can understand that when such kind of expeditious decisions are being taken by the collegium, that means CJI is playing this role very effectively. Fine. Now, for the judicial appointments, what are the procedures adopted in selection process, norms followed in the selection process, though these are unwritten norms. Unwritten norms. Okay, so you should be aware about such kind of norms, though they are mentioned in the third judge's case or second judge's case and third judge's case. Merit of the candidate, seniority, interest of the marginalized and deprived sections of society, women, religions, regions and communities. All aspects are covered while giving representation to these candidates in the higher judiciary. And this is reflected in the 9 names which are given. You should be aware about this. 3 women names are suggested among these 9, and one of the women is possible next Chief Justice of India if appointed. Okay, then one of the member is appointed from the backward community, and we can say that all nine names of the judges are from 9 different states. So region, if we are talking about regions, so different regions are also reflected in these names. So this is good thing. At the same time, if we are talking about merit, so article 142 talks about, we can say that, complete justice. Complete justice. So yes, the merit is decided if the particular candidate is able to do the complete justice in the judicial pronouncement, in the rulings. Okay, so this is how the objective criteria is also decided from the previous judgments by these judges in the high courts or lower judiciary. So this is how the objective criteria of merit as well as seniority is being considered here. Now, it is necessary to make the norm selection process transparent. This is long pending reform. We can understand that such kind of transparent process is required because this is unilateral. The collegium system, the major criticism to collegium system is the non-transparent way of recommending the names here. Okay, and therefore this should be in public domain to some extent, but it also affects the independence of judiciary. Okay, so there should be some objective criteria in public domain on the basis of which these names are being suggested. So now finally, in conclusion, we can say that collegium has done its job. Now it is the responsibility of the government to expedite the appointment process also. Okay, so this is how the delay in the appointment process of the executive is going on from time to time. Chief Justice of India, even previous CJIs, they have been focusing, emphasizing on this particular issue, and therefore government needs to speed up on this particular front. Okay, any question? Now, next article on page number 7, focusing on diseases sidelined by COVID-19. Okay, now this particular article, again it is talking about tackling with the non-communicable diseases. So yes, we need to understand the importance of dealing with these non-communicable diseases, especially during the pandemic times. First of all, we'll have a look at some data, facts about non-communicable disease burden, not only in India but also at world level. Around 70% of the diseases are, or we can say that deaths that are happening in the world, around 70% they are from non-communicable diseases. Examples of non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer. Okay, so these are non-communicable diseases, major reasons, and among them also 4 in 1 death occur due to cardiovascular diseases. Especially half of these deaths occurring from the cardiovascular deaths, they are from the younger population age group, especially in India. Okay, so in this manner you should be aware about the NCD disease burden, how these deaths are affecting. So that's why we need to have the focus of public health policy towards dealing with these non-communicable diseases also. Now, what are the problems faced during the pandemic? So during the pandemic, what happened is disruption and delay in healthcare services, then problem of transport due to lockdowns. Then during pandemic there is increase in, we can say, mental health problems, anxiety, and because of which again cardiovascular diseases. Okay, because of anxiety and mental health or stress, cardiovascular diseases, and there we can say that the impact increases due to this pandemic, especially among the aged people. Okay, so this is the impact of pandemic. Whatever the healthcare resources we had, they were completely diverted to deal with the pandemic. Okay, and that's why the disruption and delay in healthcare services to non-communicable diseases. So what should be the way for solution measures? Focus on this part largely because question will be asked in this manner only. Okay, so yes, focus should be on tobacco cessation activities. Whatever the plan we are having towards non-communicable diseases, this should include this tobacco cessation, especially for youth. So youth is very much involved in the tobacco abuse, and for that purpose there is need of rehabilitation or the counseling services, medical help to the youth, to de-addiction program. For that purpose, then awareness program should be also there. Screening for NCDs at grassroots level and delivery of locally relevant and contextual messages through ASHA workers at rural areas or in rural areas. Okay, so ASHA workers can be monetarily, we can say that, funded. They should be incentivized for this particular aspect also. Access to essential NCD medicines and basic health technologies at ground level or rural level. Importance of physical activity and mental health, so it should be promoted. Okay, so at present the people are staying at home, working from home, so largely the physical activity is not happening. So importance of physical activity and the mental health, especially during pandemic, should be emphasized. Then use of telemedicine is very important when the lockdowns are going on or during this pandemic. It reduces the transport cost involved in the access to the healthcare. Okay, so that aspect should be also understood here for use of telemedicine. So ultimately we can say that the effective and participatory leadership with strong vision and communication, this should be the policy approach, public health policy approach towards dealing with non-communicable diseases. So the broader guidelines or a way forward to deal with this non-communicable diseases are mentioned here by the experts. GS2 paper, health section. Fine. Any question? Okay, so on page number 11 of yesterday's newspaper, FAQ page, are oil bonds to blame for high fuel prices? So yes, why it was in news? Because recently finance minister had said that servicing these oil bonds has resulted into huge burden on or fiscal burden on the central government, and these oil bonds which were issued during the UPA government and now NDA government is servicing these bonds, and that's why it is having little scope to reduce the oil prices, or we can say the excise duty and taxes on the petroleum products. Okay, so that's why it was in news. Now what are these oil bonds? First of all, let us understand this. These oil bonds are dated long-term securities issued to OMCs, oil marketing companies, OMCs, by the government. Now why government had issued this between 2005 to 2010, then UPA government had issued this to OMCs. Okay, so let us understand this aspect. During the start of UPA government 2004 and 5, the barrel prices of the oil, crude oil, were less and they were growing year on year, and this proved some kind of, let's say, burden on government, because at that time the prices of the petroleum products were administered. Okay, and artificially the price of the petroleum products, petrol, diesel, was reduced. Okay, it was not market linked at that time. Fine. So for that purpose, the government had to give some subsidies there to oil marketing companies to reduce that cost. Now this had a huge fiscal burden on the government at that time. Now to reduce that fiscal burden and expand the scope here to, or we can say spread that fiscal burden for the long period, such oil bonds were issued and some kind of interest payment was also done to these OMCs on these oil bonds. Now this has resulted into further huge burden on the central government, and at present also still it is servicing those oil bonds. So oil bonds were issued in the range of 1.4 lakh crore. Okay, and the interest at present the government has given to these is in the range of 30 to 40 crore, we can say that. Okay, 40,000 crore. Now this is how we should understand. The premium is this one and the interest is at very high rate, or very much high amount of let's say money is to be given to these OMCs. This is the problem. Now after understanding this, yes, we have understood why they were issued only up to 2010. Now why only up to 2010? Because in 2010 the petrol prices were deregulated at market dynamics of demand and supply, and automatically the prices were stabilized according to the market forces. So OMCs, especially after 2014, they started gaining the profits and there was no need of, let's say, subsidies from the government at that time. Okay, so government basically deregulated these prices. At the same time, fortunately, international crude oil prices started declining from 2014 to, let's say, 2020, last year, up till last year. The prices were falling down, and this was to some extent capitalized by the central government, because simultaneously, on other hand, there was increase in excise duty as well as increase in cess by the central government, as well as increase in taxes by the state government. Some facts are mentioned there, like from 14%, this increased to around 32% excise duty. Okay, so since 2014 to last year or up till present day, such kind of increase in excise duty, that means government had increased its revenue. It had taken the advantage of international decline in this crude oil prices in the international market, and therefore the finance minister's contention here is to some extent not valid. Okay, though it is saying that it is servicing those bonds, however, the government has taken huge amount of revenue in last 6 to 7 years. Okay, so that means it had to give that money of the oil bonds to the oil OMCs. Okay, the government cannot say that previous government had done this and we are not obligated to pay that money, right? So for that matter, the government had some extra amount of revenue generated from these taxes, and it should have been, let's say, returning that money from the oil bonds to these oil marketing companies already. Okay, so in this manner we should understand the argument of the finance minister is not having that much ground here. Okay, any question? Okay, now swamp deer, there is one article on page number 7 of that magazine supplement on Sunday's newspaper. It is talking about this swamp deer. So basic information about this. Why it is called as Barasingha? Because it has such, you can see the horns are different than the other deers here, antlers. So you should be understanding this. It is having 12 to 14, the mature male is having 12 to 14 such antlers. Now, in Assamese, Barasingha is called Dol Rina or Dol, which means swamp. Natural habitat of this swamp deer is in the Kanha National Park of Madhya Pradesh. Largely, most of the population is concentrated. Only 6 localities in Uttar Pradesh. Few survive in 2 localities of Assam, Kaziranga and Manas National Park. Okay, so for example, in Uttar Pradesh, Jhilmil Jhil Conservation Reserve in Haridwar district of Uttarakhand, sorry, not UP, Uttarakhand, on the eastern bank of Ganga river. Okay, so this is also the important population. So yes, after understanding the habitat, let us also understand the threats. Poaching for antlers and meat. Wetlands have been converted and used for agriculture. That means habitat destruction and habitat fragmentation. This has been the major threat along with poaching and antlers and for the meat. Conservation status, it is listed on the Appendix 1 of CITES Treaty, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, CITES Treaty. Then Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, highest protection under this India's Wildlife Protection Act, and IUCN Red Data Book status as vulnerable. This information is important for prelims examination again. Okay, so quickly what we'll do is we'll see what kind of question was asked in UPSC examination this year. UPSC previous year MCQ 2020. Look at this question. Direct question was asked, and at that time of the year there was again one article in the Hindu newspaper talking about swamp deers. Protected areas is well known for the conservation of species of the Indian swamp deer, Barasingha. Okay, it is also writing in bracket Barasingha, UPSC. Yes, you can see here in the hard, that thrives well in the hard ground and is exclusively graminevorous. Okay, so it is protected area well known for conservation for subspecies. You should understand that even Manas National Park is also having some species, some number of, we can say, Barasinghas. But specifically if we are talking about for the protected areas well known for conservation of this species, it is Kanha National Park in MP. Okay, So this is how the questions are being asked. You should be aware. Last year there were 3 to 4 such questions were asked on the protected areas. Okay, so the trend may continue this year also. Right. Now, some prelims pointers from the Hindu newspaper, especially science and technology related developments are mentioned. Yes, Madhur floor mats. So there is one article on yesterday's newspaper. It is talking about the award given to 2 ladies related to their art, or we can say this Madhur Kathi art was given the geographical indication in 2018. This Madhur Kathi is actually a plant from which these mats are weaved. From these mats are weaved. Okay, so this is abundantly found in alluvial tracts of Purba and Paschim Medinipur districts of West Bengal. Then about 80 to 90% of the entire workforce engaged in this traditional craft comprised of women. So to some extent it is women empowerment also. Okay, so art and crafts, this is important for prelims examination. You should be aware about this. It has got GI tag also. Okay, Madhur floor mats, West Bengal. Then medicinal use of turmeric, it contains curcumin. Okay, curcumin, this particular element, or we can say chemical, this curcumin, and second is piperine. This piperine helps, enhances the curcumin absorption in body. Okay, so we know that it is having medicinal use, turmeric, that we use in day-to-day life in different, let's say, recipes, traditional recipes. So it is this particular chemical, curcumin, has powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. It is natural anti-inflammatory compound. Then curcumin boosts brain-derived neurotropic factor BDNF, a gene which promotes neuron, thus helping in memory and learning. Okay, so generally when we were learning in 10th and 12th standard, our parents used to give us the warm milk added with this turmeric also. Okay, so it boosts memory power also. Okay, so this is how the medicinal properties are there. In recently, exciting study has been recently done or published from a group in Mumbai, which shows turmeric aids in the treatment of COVID-19 patients also. So this is also good development. Further data is required, trials are required in this aspect. Then in a first, scientists from Nanyang Technology University in Singapore have introduced a stretchable battery that is powered by human perspiration, that is human sweat. Again, this is good thing because it is not having any kind of heavy metals which are harmful for the environment. Okay, so it is not having harmful elements for the environment. It is devised in a sustainable manner. So this is from science and technology perspective. From environment section, rainfall at Greenland ice summit for the first time. So this is not, let's say, good development, because Greenland, it is ice covered, the second largest ice cover after Antarctic. Okay, Greenland, and this is continuously melting, and the sea level rise, it is contributing to around, the fact is mentioned here, 25% of global sea level rise can be seen or contributed from the melting of ice from the Greenland. Okay, so you should be aware about some facts also. Now, why rainfall is problematic there? Because of rainfall, further there will be more melting, because rainfall water is warmer as compared to the ice. Second thing is that it is darker, and that's why it will absorb more sunlight as compared to ice. Ice is having high albedo as compared to water. So that's why it was in news. This is problematic as a part of impact of global warming on the ice cover in the Greenland. Okay, yes. So yes, these were important articles from last 2 days. Any question? Yes. Yes, tell me.
India has given recruit the tribunals as a panel members as well as the prime member of the institution in tribunal sections matter. CJ has given the order to central government to fill up the vacancies in the tribunal. It may cause to eliminating of the criminal backgrounds of a political people, sir.
Tribunals and how this is related, what you are saying, I'm not getting.
Actually, some of the institutions having the number of vacancies, sir, eliminate to investigation of some of the areas by using of the tribunal. Is there any chance to avoiding the criminal background people present those are running in the political background? Is there a chance to eliminate that people by using of these tribunals? Some of the cases are going to be only the politician people by the tribunal sections.
No.
Example, sir. Some of the mining areas having the some tribunal area, some of the mining area having the evacuated by the politician people. The cases are going running continuously on the political people, but it is not provable and it is continuously going from so many years onward. If the panel member has been recruited on that particular area of the tribunal, is there a chance to eliminate that type of person from the political?
No, I'm not. Tribunal, are you saying tribunal or tribal? I'm not getting.
The tribal areas having the so many cases are running, sir. Especially on the political people. They are going to be taking the resources without any legal procedures.
Okay.
If the tax has been appointed, is there a chance to reduce the political background peoples in present political parties?
Criminalization of the politics is a broader issue, and there are many reforms undertaken by EC, and Supreme Court from time to time has also undertaken some reforms here. Supreme Court led changes. You should be aware about Lily Thomas case in this regard, and yes, Election Commission has also asked to provide all the criminal backgrounds to the these political parties, the candidates. Okay, so this is actually in the hands of voters largely. The second thing is that now Supreme Court is not implementing or the government is not implementing the Supreme Court ruling regarding the special case courts to be established to deal with these cases of MPs having the criminal background, MPs and MLAs. Okay, that needs to be implemented. It is not at all implemented yet. This was given in 2018 or 19, the judgment by the Supreme Court. Special courts for expeditious, let's say, ruling, or what we can say, for the conviction of these MPs and MLAs for criminal charges. Okay, so that is not implemented yet. That should be implemented at the earliest.
Sir, recently the CJ has given the order now to fill all vacancies those are having pending in legal institution. It may give the chance to avoiding of the political people criminal background.
Yes, it will avoid, because surely when we are having the vacancies filled, there will be faster, we can say, judicial delivery. Okay, so judicial, what you can say, whatever the proceedings that are going on, if we are having more judges, obviously more cases will be dealt. At present, the delay is happening because of vacancies. Huge vacancies in high courts. This is basically major problem in some of the states. Yes, surely that will help in reducing that criminalization. Yes, what Rohan is saying, sir, how to incorporate all the daily videos in our preparation, especially for 2021 aspirants, more specifically for men's examination. Yes, this is very important. Whatever we are learning in the classroom here in these daily lecture videos, this is for all of you, how to take input here. So whatever the discussion we are doing from the mains examination perspective, some important articles from page number 6 and 7 editorial and op-ed page we are discussing. The Hindu newspaper for that purpose is most important, because these articles written by the experts, their views is very, very important. Okay, so what we can do is we make our own notes, and in that notes every important issue, for that issue 3 to 4 page are to be left. Okay, and relevant to that particular syllabus of our examination. Okay, so GS 1, 2, 3, 4 booklets can be made, or subject wise booklets can be made, and in that what we will do, we are discussing different articles on the same issue written by different experts. They are giving different views. We are incorporating here in these lectures all these views. So what we can do while making notes, or add those points there. Okay, so this will make your notes comprehensive on that particular issue. So any kind of question is asked, you are having sufficient amount of content to write in the answer. At the same time, what we are doing as a faculty, we are providing here, let's say, some balanced opinion on the particular issue, right? So yes, surely in ED lectures in more detail we are discussing, but here also we are providing some balanced opinion on that issue. So as a way forward or conclusion, you can provide that also. For specifically prelims examination, you should be having follow up on whatever the articles we are providing here. Okay, so in that write-up itself, we are providing sufficient information. You can note that down, okay, related to prelims examination. And at the same time, I would advise you to go further ahead and Google that. Try to add some information by yourself also. In addition to that, we are providing daily current affairs booklet to you. Specifically for prelims examination, have focus more on that, revise more and more on that aspect. Okay, so this is supplementary to that booklet. This is how you should combine these two, and then ED, especially for understanding these issues at depth. Okay, please talk also on converting certain old daily videos also covered on day-to-day basis also. Covering certain old daily videos also covered on day-to-day basis. Okay, if you have missed the older videos, what you can do is in a sequential basis. In sequential basis, you should not randomly refer to any old video. So let's say start with any month, start of month, let's say 1st April or 1st of May, and then complete that month. In this manner, try to continue if you have missed any older videos. Okay, so from that you can take input here. For your mains examination, for last 18 months current affairs is important. Okay, so in this manner you should be preparing that. Would it possible for you to share certain ideas on CSAT for the upcoming exams on this platform? It is getting challenging. For CSAT, yes, more and more practice is important. Now the UPSC has changed its approach for the comprehension section. Try to prepare, let's say, reading comprehension RC section very strong, because they are giving some longer, let's say, passages, and on those passages 1 or 2 questions are only asked, many passages are asked. You need to read fast, you need to comprehend very fast. Okay, so in this manner you will reduce the time limit. The major problem in CSAT is that students are not able to complete the paper. Okay, so for that purpose, what you need to do is improve your reading comprehension skills. Okay, at the same time, simultaneously, for reasoning and quantitative aptitude purpose, the practice, the more you solve, the more you, let's say, solve those questions in a faster manner in the examination. Fine, is that okay? Yes, surely. Any other question? Fine, let us stop. We will meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.